What a wild scenario we got going on here. Back in that.
Yeah, might as well.
Got this guy mounted. I have no idea how to explain how excited I am that I still have that tab. So rather than clean up my workstation and make my life easier, exactly the opposite of that, and just work with the mess.
There's a nice little one over there.
I guess this is how they're able to ship it. They did bend it into a bunch of pieces with a bunch of little stickers that tell you to straighten it. Okay, so today ended up being a bit of a Christmas day. It's raining as usual. I got a late start, but our transistors came in for the retractor control relays, so I'm gonna see about getting those working. Our pedal pads came in, not that those are a big deal, but fun stuff. Front brake pads came in, 2 pilot bearings, fuel filter, and slave cylinder. Clutch slave cylinder came in. Got a lot of parts recently from good friends who had stuff they were able to sell to me. So I got rear sway bar. Got one of these that doesn't have holes all the way through it. Got an extra gasket kit. Probably come in handy. Got other oddballs, little goodies. Got the rear lights. I got a driver's headlight. Alright. Got this spring in place and these guys where they belong. So this headlight bucket should be ready to go. And man, these are shorter than I want them to be. That's driving me crazy. Get this headlight to cycle down so that it's not in our way. Definitely fits better than the other one. Hey, look at that. There we go. Funny, I had no intentions of using the power mirrors, much less tracking them down, but seems they found me, so I'll give them a shot. Certainly struggling. Certainly not one of the things I thought would get done sooner than later. Sounds good. Try the other one. Good. This sunny weather's got me inspired. Haven't had sun for like a week. And I decided I want to take this stuff out and try to clean it up a bit while I've got time to wait. We need to get those two, that guy, this guy, and we can take these off and pull this bar out. Okay, it's undone, and then we gotta unclip whatever's attached. Got these, I'm gonna put them in a bag and evaporust them, label them, but also something I just Sorry, the lighting sucks, but I've never had a Corolla that still had this on. It's the little clip that holds this cable in place, which is for the antenna of all things. Just to help things along, I'm going to take a wire brush and just try to get rid of any loose scale. Give the same treatment to these guys. I'm even going to leave the electrical connectors on and just see if they still work afterwards, just because. Okay, another thing I just did is I heated this and the mounting bolts for the carburetor up with a torch. Well, that's two. Look at that though. See, that's what's wild, is anything that was out of the, what seems like the air, is like still zinc plated, still looks fresh. Kind of adding to that whole salty sea air theory I've got working. Yes. See? Super clean right there. Just dumped all that brake clean and other stuff. It's the carburetor itself that's in bad shape. Intake actually looks really good in there. And let's just dunk it in. I don't even know if it'll all fit. Pretty much. Maybe. You gotta go, I guess. And get this fully submerged. Man, it's just crusty. Got the, no, that's not gonna work. Maybe this way. Got the brake pedal stuff and clutch pedal brackets and stuff in there, so. Oh yeah, I think we get it. Gonna get it. Yep, okay, that'll do. Put this guy back on. Hope it be fully submerged. So I heated these up a little bit with the little torch, and they actually broke free surprisingly well. This one I haven't done yet, but that one feels broken. Rusty door latch bolts are preventing, well, not just the bolts, the whole thing. It's preventing this door from actually closing. So I'm gonna try to soak it in evaporust just like everything else, and hopefully I can kind of save it. If you've never done these before, the little rods go up here and then they turn and click into this section. So if the rod's here, you gotta push the clip and spin it out of the way, and then you can pull the rod out that way. So now that I've got these rods detached, there's a bolt here I detached and then these on the front. So now what I gotta do is I gotta pull this guy out for the lock cylinder, and then get this little clip undone for the rod that goes to the handle, and then this should all pull out unless I forgot something. You're looking through the access port, and the little bolt is right there. I think I need to lift the handle Okay, I lubricated this guy and then it popped out as it should have. So now I just have that bolt and I think all the door pieces should come apart. So with the door assembly, latch assembly out, here are the two rods. The longer one goes on the bottom. Not too much left of that one. Okay, got a different door on, one that actually has glass and actually latches. So, still don't have the back glass, and this door's on the outside is actually looks in worse shape because it's a little damaged. So probably won't be a permanent door for the car, but it at least allows us to close the window and have less of a chance of water getting in. At least we got some glass in there. Brand new Dorman door handles. Door handle cranks, window crank handles. So just as a fun little tidbit, I've had this window regulator in the evaporess, but it only went this deep, so you can see what it's what it's doing. And we've got our door latch, which seems to have improved quite nicely. I'm gonna actually mess with it a little more to verify that, but it's coming along. Probably scrape off all the kind of flaky crud and then keep soaking it. I find that can help a lot. Okay, I've been kind of fiddling with this door hinge to both to figure out how it works and see what stuff. Everything was a little bit frozen up, but a little bit of yeah, there we go. A little bit of work. Things are freeing up. So what was happening before is this would close, but it wouldn't lock. But now it stays locked, so that would actually, the door would shut and stay shut now. And then this is your door handle. So when you pull on it, it pushes down on this. And then frees that open. So it locks. And when you there you go. When you open your door, it's pushing here. So this is on a return spring, and it was frozen in this position, so it wasn't allowing this to actually close. And now that the spring is doing its job, when that closes, it stays closed, and then there you go. Okay, I'm going to see how well I can show all of this. This would be the inside of the car, outside of the car, back of the car, front of the car, and it goes into there, into the striker. So, this piece I was just talking about is the lock, and I'll show that in a second. So you've got, this goes to your outside door handle, which pushes down like that. This piece here is that's the part that hits the striker, so this piece that actually latches down. And then this is your inside door handle, which works that same up and down rod. That when you pull the inside door handle, it pulls this, Anyway, so both these top pieces are for opening the door from the outside and the inside. This is your lock. How that works, if you pay attention up here, what this does, and this is your probably your outside lock and your inside lock. When you do that, it's hard to show because there's so many moving pieces. This piece can't go down because this piece is keeping it in place. I think. I don't know what this on the front is. I hope that's not supposed to go somewhere. I don't think I've ever seen that. There, it's threaded, and from what I can see, it looks like it just goes to nowhere, but I'm hoping that's not something I'm supposed to know about. I have no idea if there's fluid in this diff. I assume there is, but I don't actually know. That was lucky. Oh, where am I gonna do that? And now, let's go Lucy again to try to seat it. Okay, all new brake lines, soft lines that is. Guess I could take this old exhaust off. That one. Not the world's best angle for doing that. There's some secret sauce way. Is that it? And then there we go. So another thing I've had laying around for ages, like, I mean, probably a decade, and sat outside for years. I can't even remember how I got it, what it came off of. It might have been off a motor I already had. I don't even know anymore. Like, the throttle body's locked. It's crusty. There was a bunch of leaves and shit in there. So this is in desperate need of some attention. All right, now let's see if we can get this out without spilling everywhere. Oh yeah. Okay, so I've got this. It's been sitting. I've got it to where it's moving a little more free, but not enough for the return spring to do its... Oh! Getting there. So, before it gets too much better, take a little toothbrush and try to scrub away any of the goo in here that I can. Sorry, I don't really have a good way to show this. My other camera's the one I normally use, but it's busy, so... Okay, that's definitely progress. Okay, I mean, I'm pretty pleased. Like, that hardware all looks good. This looks pretty good. This is doing what it should. I mean, it needs to be cleaned from here, but I'm just saying, just from nothing but soaking in evaporust, that's not bad. So this body line, I've been doing a little bit of bashing, and this body line's coming back. And so I noticed when I put the trunk lid on, this is straight like it, or straighter as it kind of should be, but I also is a little low compared to this. So this needs to probably go down, but this needs to come up. So I've got a piece of wood kind of braced along the seam there, and then a floor jack. Well, it was working. Got a height difference. So I think it's from this being pushed up, so this actually needs to go down. Well, it's beginning to rain again, so that's really fun. Problem is, this car needs to stay inside. Even once it's rolling again, it needs to stay inside. So it's making it real hard to work on this thing every time it rains, but gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. So what we did is we ground past the rust areas, and you can see kind of the transition there where the good metal is. And then I think probably the easiest and simplest way to deal with this is going to be marking a very square uniform section and cutting that out so that all of our repair places are uniform. This measurement I took is the width of the area we want to patch right here. So from like here to here basically, and then I will use the paper to kind of make this piece. It doesn't float away from me, but we're going to cut this strip out so that we have a piece that's the right width to start with. All of that kindergarten cut and paste is coming in handy about now. I guess that's why you learn it, so that you can restore Corollas 30 years later, whatever it is. This is our general template for now. I'll mark this line with the pencil just as a general reference point. So that's what we're going to try to make. Move it to there. I'm going to use this to help me keep it in place, and use my modified pick. So it's kind of curled up, so we're going to flip it over so it's curled down a bit, and just gently work at it. I'll hop back on the I-10, go back to Mulholland where it belongs. Then we can just hand bend it basically. And it looks pretty good. You'll notice if I set it here, it's a little lower than the line, which is perfect because it's not going to be underneath it, it's going to be level with this piece. So this one, if we get it as close as we can to level, it looks like it matches really well. And the angle of it looks to be pretty close. it's a little too much, like 90 or a little more than 90, and it looks like it needs to be just a little less, so I'm gonna try to undo it a little, but you can see it doesn't just undo the bend in exactly the same spot, so you kind of gotta be careful with your bends you're making. And I want to make sure I get this lined up properly. Can basically go here into the table. Because the table's thin, set it in there. So I want to line this edge up and keep this flat, and then use this to hold it down real tight so it doesn't move on us. Hit that flange down. So now we've got our channel section. It's not perfectly straight yet, but it's beginning to take shape. And you can see it just barely fits in there. So we've got that piece there. And at this point, we want to start bending out. Not super far, but we do want to start bending out. So we're going to put that in the vise. Just making sure paper template's where it belongs. So then this needs to go back that way, but not too much. It looks like this piece right here is a little overbent, and it needs to relax just a bit. This is too sharp, and this is a funky, it's hard to tell because this is damaged, and this one kind of is too, but it's not just a straight sharp line. It's like it changes and it twists a little bit, which makes it a little more complicated to try to make. And it's not the part that's in really bad shape, so like I'm not going to go all the way up to here anyway. I don't want to weld up there. I want to try welding more down here. In fact, I might even try welding basically right here. This is a little pitted, but I think it's thick enough, and there's 2 layers that I'll be able to weld right there, and then I can shape this kind of how it should be, or in a way that looks natural using the welds. I think that's what I want to do. So in that case, start to rain. I'm going to take our paper template, and we're basically going to cut along that pencil line, it looks like. So let's do that. Going just a little shy of what I want in case I do it wrong. Didn't do all of it, just got closer, so to speak. Because I still got to decide some things. Then that shows us where we want to trim this. Piece got a little boogered up when I was wire wheeling because it was less than ideal. Same with over here, and that's okay. We can fill those. We just need to do it delicately. But I think I'm going to move on with life and weld from the other side and just let the paint be its thing. But I am going to use this copper. The welds won't stick to the copper, so I can use it as a backing to help the welds stay where I want them. We'll grind that back down because we can. We got free will and all, so. Yep. Don't ever let anyone say I was good at this. That's not the point. So the heat from that process has put, I don't know if it's visible on the camera, but a little warp in there. That's okay too. We can get that back out relatively okay. I mean, considering the car. Okay, now we got this we need to repair or get back out. The other side actually does do that, so it's not, maybe not even necessary. It's not like that big of a deal. So maybe I won't worry about it. I'm more concerned at the moment with protecting it from all the weather we're having. This car I had to be a little pickier with, so of course this was a good one to make all my mistakes on and do everything 1,000 times so that I could do a really good job on this car that doesn't need that good of a job. A really good job just being an okay job. So I think I'm going to call that. You know, later if we want to work on it more we can, but we got lots of other things to fix. But I guess just as a initial starter, that's what we're going to be doing to this whole area and maybe a lot of that. We'll see. Okay, I wasn't going to mess with it, but it's been bugging me. So this section where it should have a I don't know if it's bad on that one too, but should have this lap joint with a seam, a lip, whatever you want to call it. I don't necessarily mind it not having that, but the way it turned out is just really gross and ugly. So I'm going to see if I can use a combination of carbide bits to kind of reinstall that little edge where it would be. See, it puts these little dips in, and if it was exactly where you needed it, that would be great. Like it did okay right there. It actually helped a lot right there, but to cut that groove, that hard edge I'm looking for, everything I'm trying is probably not really the right tool. Maybe what I should do is get a brace under here and use a chisel. But I mean, we're not whittling a nutcracker here, so I think we're just gonna be happy that it's not gonna leak. So I'm just heating this up a little bit with the torch. Not too much, don't want to warp it, just enough to warm it as well as dry off all the moisture. And then similarly, we're gonna heat up our primer, just using some self-etching for now until we figure something out later about painting the car or whatever we do. Alright, so as long as perfection isn't the name of the game, I have to figure out what we need to do there, but for this part at least, I'm satisfied. Took a little rag and solvent and got the green off the edge there. eventually we'll figure out what we want to do with the rest of it. This trunk lid has what appears to be like a whole quart of oil absorbed all over it on the inside. So I can't really do any work on it until it gets cleaned off because I don't want to catch it on fire, plus it's just kind of gross. So I'm gonna try to degrease it a bit and clean it up, and then maybe I can start making patches and panels and whatnot for it. I think I'm gonna focus on taking measurements and mapping out what the panel should in theory be. Okay, I'm gonna take my calipers and try to get as close as I can to an accurate measurement of this plane. That's 31 millimeters, and then we're gonna subtract 3 millimeters, so 27 millimeter wide channel. I'm gonna see if I can straighten this out enough. This is a piece of ground wire for like a house outlet kind of wiring. I'm using this because it's solid, so it'll stay in the shape that I make. Use a kind of pointy hammer to get this to sit in that channel the best I can. That's kind of what I had in mind. It's not perfect, but gets the idea, I think. Let's take a marker that you'll be able to see. So I grabbed my silver one. This is kind of our rough template of what we're trying to mimic. So as an example, it is a tighter radius than this hammerhead, so we can't use this as our object, so we need a circle smaller than that to get our radius shape. The flat area before it starts curving, we're at like 24 millimeters. Radius gauges from Make It Custom, and this is showing closest thing here is this 1 inch, I believe it's 1 inch. The 1.5 is too big, 0.75 is too small. Now here's a point I want to make. I showed you that radius gauge, but you don't need a radius gauge. That's just kind of a luxury item. So like here's this little Husky ball peen hammer that I have, and that's just about the right curve. It doesn't have to match all the way. I'm just trying to get the innermost part to be as accurate as possible, because if I have that, I can still use this to show me everything, but this is something I can use to bend the metal against to get that right curve. So another thing we want to check out is the width of this, length to work with here, and I'm just going to basically do that to overestimate. So I'm going to go with like 9 inches, more than enough depth. Okay, now I'm going to set it on this anvil. It doesn't have to be an anvil, just hard flat surface. So it could be the garage floor, it could be the bully from high school's head, whatever. And we're just gonna tap out any of the burrs and things. So many fun sounds to be had with these things. Sharp protrusions out of the way, so I'm less likely to stab myself, although I'm sure I will. For doing a small trim like that, these are actually really great. These are Milwaukee ones. I learned my lesson the hard way. Don't cheap out on snips. Get really good snips. Otherwise, don't get snips. Okay, so what we have here is a very ugly, hand-hammered to hell out of a single flat sheet piece that we can use to make this trunk lid open and close again. It'll be really ugly, but we don't care. It doesn't need to be pretty, it just needs to hold that hinge together so that we can actually use the trunk lid. Paint the top side with like a weld through primer, and honestly I'm probably just gonna like stitch weld this, or I guess lap weld it, however you want to think about that, rather than try to do a butt weld, because a butt weld on this is going to be a nightmare, and it just doesn't need it. It's just the underside of a rusty trunk lid, and I'm gonna fix these. I might do these, but probably not. Like, this doesn't actually matter. I'll probably just treat it. I might do this one so it sits level, but like this kind of rust, we're just gonna treat it so it doesn't keep rusting as quickly. It'll probably still rust, but like we're just gonna get it over with. We just want this thing to bolt on, latch, and more or less look the part, as long as you're not getting picky with your inspection here. But that's good enough for me. I've never tried to hand make with hammers, like hand hammer panel beat a panel like that before, so that was a very new experience. And I'm probably like 10 hours into that panel, which is pretty ridiculous. So you could obviously use a planishing hammer to clean it. In some ways it turned out better than I thought, in some ways it turned out worse than I thought, and in some ways it turned out exactly as bad as I knew it would. So I'm fine with it. I don't want to spend all my life doing body work. I'll just do whatever's quickest to make sense. It doesn't need to look good. It's not going to look good no matter how much I try. It's a very hammered panel, and I don't need it to be metal finished, so we're done. Okay, as I kind of said before, we got lots of things that worked fine and lots of things that are dumb and bad, and we don't really care. We're gonna get this stuff attached, and I'm ready to move on with my life already. So let's go. And there we go. That is not the factory curve, and we don't care. Someone in the comments for the last video where I was pulling dents out was talking about me fixing it the right way and how that was refreshing for them. I wonder if they're really upset right now, or I don't know. Maybe they're okay with this. Okay, I got the welds ground down, and just some cheap etching primer on there to attempt to protect it a little bit. It ain't pretty, but it'll get the job done, and I have no idea if the trunk will actually seal, but it's okay. I need to make these, and I also need to make the patch for the back panel. And also my fuel stuff, the rest of my fuel stuff, well, not all of it, my fuel pump came in. So I put the pump in, and then I'm still waiting on the rubber hose that goes from the tank to the lines before I can do all of it. Weather's been nuts. It was snowing this morning, and now we've had our first kind of sunny day in a really long time, which is kind of weird, but I think it's supposed to rain for another week again after this, so I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that fuel tank stuff. I don't really want to do it outside in the wet cold, so I've been focusing on inside stuff for now, but good progress.